The health center was full of contradictions. The first one was you spend a couple of years learning about the power that made body heals the body, and then they make you put on this white coat to and carry a stethoscope and do all these sort of medical tests and procedures. And I get that. It's like the school has to get you through certain hurdles to make sure that you're not a menace to society, and to make sure that you have certain procedures in place to represent the profession, and all that is, while as a student it seemed contradictory, I've come to understand it as a necessary thing.
Mhm.
That being said, the doctors in the clinic were full of information, full of clinical experience, full of valuable tidbits of information. I just had to figure out how to get that out of them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
and of course, like any place, you kind of gravitate to the people you connect with and resonate with. And I feel very blessed to have had teachers there who really trusted me and understood where my skill set was, and also could challenge me to kind of push up my game where places where I was just being lazy or didn't want to really explore too much. So
Uh-huh.
the health center was a place to bring very practical applications to bear, and to kind of test your chops a little bit and get some experiences, good, bad, and indifferent. Some of the experience I had in the health center were like, this is amazing. I love connecting with people this way. This is what I'm going to do. And I also had equally valuable learning experiences that were like, I never am going to do it this way.
Mhm.
Like this way, like this way, I will refer people if they need a lot of ortho and neuro exam kind of procedures. And my way of connecting with the body is going to be different. And so it, I'll just say that it was a valuable learning experience for the things that I got, and also the things I realized like weren't going to fit my practice model eventually. Yeah.
Sweet. So transitioning into your practice model that you currently practice
Mm.
probably looks a little bit different than where you were at when you first got out of school. But can you speak a little bit about how your practice model has maybe changed, maybe stayed the same, but how you
Mm.
set it up, like how you transitioned into practice?
Well, I mean, I came from like the same background as you, which was like in body work, working with one person for maybe an hour at a time and focusing in that way. And it was very intimate and very connected. And I really enjoy that. And strangely enough, in COVID times, that's kind of how I'm practicing again.
Mhm.
It's kind of come full circle in an interesting way. But the practice model that I really love and thrive in has to do with what's called an open room format. So, in my open adjusting room, I have 7 tables, and then I have a private room that with an 8th table. And in the course of an hour, I'll see like maybe 8 or 10 people in sort of a fluid, circular way, where people don't come in and just get a 2-minute adjustment, but they come in and they're on the table for maybe half an hour. And in that time, I'm coming by and helping them in the sort of process oriented way explore their body and integrate places that are disconnected and release patterns of deep tension. And so there are different kinds of touch. There's light, energetic touch that brings awareness to their nervous system. There's like a deep myofascial touch that releases holding patterns from their muscular system. And then there's like the more traditional chiropractic approach, when their body's ready to receive that deeper, more powerful impulse, then it's like super sweet. So that was the model that was really thriving. It gave me the capacity to see about 200 people a week comfortably, working over a 4-day period. And um, all that has shifted a little bit now with COVID, and we're just kind of riding it out and seeing what happens. But it's still good, and we're still thriving. Yeah.
Sweet. Can you speak a little bit about your involvement in your local massage school and
Sure.
also these different tissues that you just described? There are different frequencies, tonally speaking, and
Yeah.
also the work that you do is has a tonal quality about it. And can you speak also about your logic on where you're going with these different tissues, or how you're relating to the person on the table, right? Because you're not doing something to somebody, but with somebody, and just giving us some insights into how you work with people.
Yeah, really well said, Ben. Working with people and not just doing things to them is sort of a crucial distinction, you know? It is a way of listening to the body. And when you say like a tonal model, we're literally listening with our hands. And the founder of chiropractic, D.D. Palmer, he talked about this mysterious property that he called tone, that he could start to sense with his hands and with his awareness, like where things were sort of in tune and out of tune in the body. And different tissues have a different tonal resonance or different tonal quality. And so there are some places where the primary tension in the body is stored in the connective tissue. And there are other places where the primary tension is stored in the muscular tissue, the contractile fibers. And there are other places where the tension is stored deep in the bone or in the relationships between the bones, that architectural. So we call this the passive subsystem, the active subsystem, and the architectural structural system, right? Different chiropractic techniques have focused on these different types of tissue, right? So different approaches, sometimes like, like network releases, primarily meningeal tensions. And AK works a lot with the muscle and the myofascia of the body, right? That's applied kinesiology. Traditionally, chiropractic techniques are taught to release osseous tension by cavitating joints and helping bodies kind of reposition things that have come out of alignment, and that kind of approach. And the beauty of this biogeometric integration is that it gives us permission to approach all three depending on how they're needed. That's really why I gravitated towards the work of Sue Brown, is that it gave me this umbrella to understand, like, when is the appropriate time to put in the appropriate force. And that appropriate force could cover a whole range of different things. And coming from a backwork of, a background of massage therapy, I was deeply connected to the muscular system, and I didn't want to just, never work with that again. It just made perfect sense to find a way that helped me understand, like, how is this part of the adjustment, not something separate from it.